how to prune a vine in 3 easy steps. This is probably one of the most asked questions we get at Cellar Door during autumn and winter. So winter's when the vines are dormant. That's when the vines get a rest, they rejuvenate, and that's before their growing cycle will start again in spring, and that begins at bud burst. So this dormant time, winter, is the time, it's the best time to prune the vines, while those vines are bare. So in the Swan Valley, the earliest we can start is about once 90% of the vineyard leaves have dropped. Ultimately, pruning is all about creating a balanced vine, and so a balanced vineyard. This is really critical in making great wine, as ultimately wine is just fermented grape juice. So we need each vine to be perfectly balanced. However, all you want to know, generally, is how to prune the vine at your house. And it is easy. Particularly if your vine is fairly established, so about 4 feet high, it will be almost impossible to kill it. So pruning is really going to be about creating the shape or guiding the vine where you want it to grow. So 1, choose a couple of strong branches, a bit thicker than a pencil thickness. So something like that. Then you're going to wind them where you want them to grow. So you might be the second layer of wires here. Probably you want to create shade in summer. 3, cut everything else away. Seriously, all these other branches, get rid of them. Get rid of everything, because each bud or kind of knobbly bit on your vine is going to turn into a branch of its own. All the roots are still there, so the bigger the root system, the older the vine, the more growth they're going to force out through whatever new wood that you've laid down. But in the vineyard, it is a bit more complicated. Derek will take a look at each vine. He'll choose the strongest shoots or the branches to keep and cut off the weak ones. And the aim of that is to create an even or symmetrical shape. A well-pruned vine will produce the best sized fruit, which will ripen evenly, as there'll be a right number of bunches of grapes for that specific vine. So these ones are all pruned now. There are 2 ways to prune grapevines, cane pruning or spur pruning. So how to cane prune? You're going to choose 2 or 4 strong 1-year-old canes. They're going to need to be slightly thicker than a pencil's width, and you're going to leave those on the trunk. You then cut off all the other canes. You cut them as close to the vine's trunk as possible and wrap the remaining 2 or 4 canes along that trellis wire. The new shoots will sprout in spring, 1 from each of those buds. The advantages of cane pruning are increased yield, the canopy's more open so the air can circulate better, and the fruit set will be better. So you're going to get more fruit. But the major disadvantage is that it is a lot harder. It takes a lot longer, it needs more skilled people, and so it's a lot more expensive to do. How to spur prune? So you need to have trained the vine into your T shape with a strong trunk and 2 cordons, both running on either side of the main trunk. So you can see them here. Cut away all the existing canes to a spur or a small stem where a cluster of shoots can grow from. Each spur or stem ought to probably have 2 buds left on it. Then cut away all the remaining canes, so all of that. Remove any unwanted canes that aren't in the right place. Spur pruning is a lot quicker and it's a lot easier and simpler than cane pruning. We can even get a mechanical pre-pruner in, and that's going to cut a lot of this excess wood away into pencil length so they fall away from the canopy and they won't need to be pulled out by hand. However, it does seem to reduce the vine's yield over time, and it can lead to smaller berries. However, depending on the variety, this could be a positive as well. So at Upper Reach, we do a mixture of spur and cane pruning to make the very best grapes that we can for each of your wines.